My best friend sent me my fiancé's secret love letter, then said it was an accident. I knew it was a lie. You never forget the exact moment your world splits in two. For me, it wasn't dramatic. No shouting. No shattered glass. Just a soft ping on my phone at 2:17 a.m. and 3 words that rewrote my entire future. OMG, I think I just ruined everything. I squinted at the screen, half asleep, wondering what Rachel could have possibly done at this hour. We'd been best friends since freshman year of college. Roommates, travel buddies, the kind of friends who know your coffee order and your deepest fears. She was practically family. Then I saw the attachment, a screenshot, Jason's name at the top, and a message that made my blood freeze. I can't wait to marry you, Sarah. Every time I look at Chloe, I see everything I'm running from. You're my real future. My breath stopped. Sarah? Who the hell was Sarah? My hand shook so badly I dropped my phone. Jason, my fiancé of 2 years, was texting another woman about marrying her while planning our wedding. Before I could process it, another text came through from Rachel. Chloe, please don't freak out. It was a total accident. I meant to send that to my mom as a joke about Jason being sketchy, but I hit your name instead. Delete it, Piels? A joke? She thought this was a joke? I stared at the ceiling, heart pounding, trying to make sense of it. Jason had been distant lately, canceling date nights, working late, flinching when I touched him. But I chalked it up to wedding stress. Now, this. I typed back slowly, who is Sarah? Rachel's reply was instant. Some girl from his office, but it's nothing. He's just venting. You know how guys are? But the words, I can't wait to marry you, didn't sound like venting. They sounded like planning. I called Jason, straight to voicemail. Texted him, we need to talk. No response. So I did the only thing that made sense. I got dressed, drove to Rachel's apartment, and waited on her doorstep until she opened the door at 3 a.m., bleary-eyed and guilty. Chloe, I swear it was an accident, she said, pulling me inside. I was showing Mom how Jason's been acting weird, and I screenshotted that fake convo as a joke. Like, imagine if he was cheating, but I sent it to you by mistake. Fake? The message looked real. His typing style, his emoji use, he always used periods, never exclamation points. Even the way he wrote marry instead of marry you, that was so Jason. But why would you even make that up? I asked, voice trembling. Why invent a whole affair? She hugged me tight. Because I'm protective. I've seen how stressed you are about the wedding. I wanted Mom to help me keep an eye on him. It almost made sense. Almost. But as I drove home, one thought wouldn't leave me. If it was really a fake message, why did Jason's phone stay off all night? The next morning, Jason acted completely normal, kissing me goodbye, humming in the shower, packing his lunch like nothing happened. But when I checked his iPad later, I found a hidden note titled Sarah Timeline. And at the bottom in his handwriting, tell Chloe about open marriage next week. I stood in our kitchen, staring at Jason's iPad like it might bite me. Sarah Timeline. Met at Connor's party, March 12th. First coffee, March 18th. Told her about Chloe's anxiety, April sex. She understands me better, April 15th. Plan to tell Chloe about open marriage next week. Open marriage? We'd never discussed non-monogamy. Not once. My stomach churned. So this wasn't just an affair. It was a calculated exit strategy. He'd groomed this Sarah woman while positioning me as the anxious one who needed space. I closed the iPad just as he walked in, whistling. Morning, babe. Ready for that couples massage tonight? I forced a smile. Can't wait. All day I played detective. Checked his browser history. Cleared. Scanned his laundry for unfamiliar perfume. Nothing. Even went through his work calendar, nothing suspicious. But that night, during our massage, I watched him like a hawk. He kept glancing at his phone, smiling at messages I couldn't see. Afterward, over wine, I casually said, So, have you ever thought about an open marriage? He choked on his sip. What? No. Why would you ask that? You tell me, I said lightly. Just curious. He relaxed. Nah, you're it for me, Chloe. But his eyes darted away when he said it. 2 days later, Rachel invited me for brunch. We need to clear the air, she said. Over avocado toast, she leaned in. Look, I know you're upset about the text, but Jason loves you. Maybe you should just let it go? Let it go? I echoed. He's talking about marrying another woman. He's confused, she insisted. Men do stupid things when they're stressed. Don't throw away 2 years over a text. But it wasn't just the text. It was the timeline, the secret planning, the way he'd already painted me as the problem. That evening, Jason finally brought it up. Hey, Rachel told me you're still upset about that fake message. It wasn't fake, I said quietly. He sighed like I was being difficult. Okay, fine. There is someone, but it's not serious. She's just easy to talk to. And you told her you want to marry her? My voice cracked. I was venting, he said defensively. You've been so tense about the wedding. I needed someone who gets me. So you decided to replace me? No, he reached for my hand. But what if we tried an open marriage? Just for a little while? You could date too. There it was, the proposal from his notes. I stared at him, really seeing him for the first time. This wasn't love. It was convenience. He wanted his cake and someone else's too, and expected me to bake it. I nodded slowly like I was considering it. Maybe you're right. Let's try it. His face lit up until I added, but only if you introduce me to Sarah first. I want to thank her for understanding you so well. The color drained from his face, because Sarah wasn't real, and he knew I knew it. Jason stammered something about Sarah being shy and not ready to meet anyone, but I just smiled sweetly. That's okay. I'll find her myself. The next day, I called in sick to work and went straight to his office. Sat in my car across the street, watching employees come and go. No one matched the vague description he'd given. Brunette, works in marketing. I checked LinkedIn, searched every Sarah at his company. None had recent photos with Jason. None worked in marketing. Then I remembered something Rachel had said. Some girl from his office. But what if she wasn't from his office? I pulled up Jason's social media, scrolled through months of posts, found a group photo from Connor's birthday party, March 12th, the same date as his first meeting with Sarah. There were 6 women in the photo. I zoomed in on each face. One of them looked familiar. Too familiar. My blood ran cold. It was Rachel. Not just in the photo, in several others. Laughing with Jason at a bar. Taking selfies at a concert. Even one from last month, the 2 of them hugging at what looked like a hotel lobby. I felt sick. My best friend. My sister in everything but blood. And my fiancé. But why would Rachel send me that text? Why expose their own affair? Unless it wasn't an accident at all? I drove straight to Rachel's apartment. This time I didn't wait for her to answer. I pounded on the door until she opened it, eyes wide with panic. Chloe, save it, I said, shoving my phone in her face. Explain these photos. She crumpled instantly. Oh God, know what? That you've been sleeping with my fiancé? Or that you sent me that text on purpose? Tears streamed down her face. I didn't mean for you to see it. I was trying to scare you into fixing things with him. By faking an affair? No, she grabbed my arms. It's not fake. We've been together for 3 months. But I thought if you saw how unhappy he was, you'd either fight for him or let him go. Either way, I win. The cruelty of it hit me like a truck. She hadn't just stolen my fiancé. She'd weaponized my trust to manipulate the outcome. And the accidental text? I asked coldly. I needed you to doubt him, she whispered, so you'd push him away and he'd come to me. I yanked my arms free. Get out of my life. As I turned to leave, she called after me. He loves me, Chloe. He said you're too clingy. Too much. I paused at the door. Funny. He told me the same thing about you last week. Her face fell, because she knew I was lying. And that's when I realized they'd been playing each other too. That night, I confronted Jason with everything. Instead of denying it, he smirked and said, Rachel told me you'd never believe her over me. But then he added something that made my skin crawl. She doesn't know I've been telling you the same thing about her. They weren't lovers. They were pawns in each other's games, and I was the prize. I sat across from Jason at our favorite cafe, the place where he'd proposed, and listened as he laid out their twisted scheme. It started as a joke, he said, stirring his coffee like this was normal. Rachel said you were getting too intense about the wedding. I said you were perfect. She bet me $500 I'd break up with you within a month. So you slept with her? I asked, voice flat. No, he looked genuinely shocked. We just pretended, sent fake text, took staged photos. The whole thing was performance art. Performance art? Yeah. She'd tell me how controlling you were. I'd tell her how jealous you were of her. We were just testing how far we could push you before you snapped. I stared at him numb. And the Sarah thing? Rachel's middle name is Sarah, he said with a shrug. Seemed poetic. So it was all fake. The affair, the love letters, the secret meetings. Just 2 narcissists playing emotional chicken with my heart as the finish line. What happens when you win? I asked quietly. He grinned. Whoever makes you leave first gets the other one. Simple. Simple. Right. I thought about all the nights I'd cried myself to sleep, wondering what I'd done wrong. All the times I'd apologized for being too much. All the love I'd poured into this relationship, while they treated it like a sport. And Rachel, my best friend since college. The one who held my hair back when I was sick, who helped me move after my breakup with Mark, who promised to be my maid of honor. She'd reduced our friendship to a bet. I stood up slowly. You're both disgusting. Jason's smile faded. Chloe, come on. It was just a game. No, I said, it was my life. And you treated it like a punchline. I walked out without looking back. But I didn't go home. I went to Rachel's. She opened the door looking hopeful, like maybe I'd chosen Jason and come to warn her off. Instead, I handed her a printed photo. Her and Jason at Connor's party. Game over, I said. You both lose. Her face fell. Chloe, please. No more lies, I interrupted. No more games. You're dead to me. As I turned to leave, she whispered, was any of it real? Our friendship? I met her eyes. Every word I ever said to you was true. That's what makes this so unforgivable. 2 days later, I canceled the wedding. But instead of disappearing, I did something neither of them expected. I invited them both to dinner. Closure, I said. What they didn't know? I'd booked the private room at our engagement restaurant and hired a photographer to capture their faces when they realized they'd been set up too. I chose the same restaurant where Jason proposed, La Belle Epoque, with its velvet booths and candlelit tables. The private room in the back where he'd gotten down on one knee. When Jason arrived first, he looked nervous. You sure about this? Positive, I said, pouring him water. We need to end this cleanly. Rachel showed up 10 minutes later, eyes red-rimmed. She barely looked at Jason. We ordered appetizers in stiff silence. Then I raised my glass. To honesty, I said. Finally. They exchanged uneasy glances but clinked glasses. Halfway through dinner, I leaned forward. So, who won the bet? Jason choked on his wine. Rachel froze. What bet? Jason asked weakly. The $500 bet, I said calmly. About who could make me leave first. Rachel's face went pale. Chloe, I swear. Save it, I cut in. I know everything. The fake affair, the staged photos, the Sarah alias, even the part where you each told the other I was too much. Jason stared at Rachel. You told her I said that? Rachel shot back. You told her I called her clingy? They turned on each other instantly. Accusations flying, voices rising. You said she'd never believe me. You promised you'd make her choose you. I sat back and watched them unravel. Two people so obsessed with winning, they never noticed they were both losing. Then I did it. I tapped my phone. Soft classical music filled the room, from the hidden speakers I'd arranged with the manager. Jason frowned. What's that? Just some ambiance, I said sweetly. But Rachel recognized it. Her eyes widened in horror. It was the audio recording from their secret meetup at the hotel lobby, the one in the photo I'd shown her. Every word, every laugh, every cruel comment about me. Jason's face collapsed. You recorded us? No, I said. The hotel did. For security. I borrowed the footage. Rachel stood up, knocking over her chair. This is insane. Is it? I asked. Or is it justice? I pulled out my laptop and turned it toward them. On screen, a live feed of the private room, from the photographer I'd hired. Their faces, twisted with guilt and rage, stared back at them. You wanted an audience, I said quietly. Now you have one. As they scrambled to leave, I handed each a USB drive. Your copy of the footage. Share it if you want, but know this, if either of you contact me again, I release the full version online. And trust me, your employers will love it. They fled separately, not even looking at each other. But the real victory came a week later when I saw their social media posts blaming each other and realized they'd lost everything, including each other. The weeks after the dinner were quiet, peaceful even. I moved out of our shared apartment into a tiny studio downtown, sold my engagement ring online and donated the money to a women's shelter, started therapy to unpack 2 years of gaslighting disguised as love. Jason called once, left a voicemail. I miss you. Can we talk? I deleted it without listening to the end. Rachel sent a letter, handwritten, tear-stained. I was jealous of your happiness. I thought if I couldn't have what you had, I'd destroy it. I burned it in my sink. But the real healing came slowly. Morning coffee without checking my phone, nights alone that didn't feel lonely, reconnecting with old friends I'd neglected during the relationship. One afternoon, I ran into Maya, my college roommate, at the grocery store. You look lighter, she said, hugging me. I feel it, I admitted. She invited me to a pottery class she taught. Just for fun. No pressure. I went, got clay in my hair, laughed until I cried. And for the first time in years, I felt like myself. Not Jason's fiancé, not Rachel's project, just Chloe. 3 months in, I started dating again. Slowly, cautiously. A graphic designer named Eli who asked thoughtful questions and never rushed me. One night, over takeout, he said, "You seem guarded." I was betrayed by the two people I trusted most. I said simply, "It takes time to unlearn that." He nodded. Take all the time you need. No pressure. No games. Just honesty. Meanwhile, Jason and Rachel's implosion went public. Mutual friends posted screenshots of their blame-shifting texts. His company restructured his role. Reed demoted him. Her Instagram following plummeted as followers realized her authentic content was built on lies. Karma didn't need my help. It handled itself. But the sweetest revenge came unexpectedly. 6 months after the dinner, I received an email from La Belle Epoque's manager. Found this in the private room. Thought you should have it? Attached was a photo. The three of us at that final dinner, mid-argument, faces contorted. On the back, someone had scrawled, "Never trust people who treat love like a competition." I framed it, not as a trophy, but as a reminder. Last week, I ran into Jason at the farmer's market. He looked older, tired. "I heard you're happy," he said quietly. I just smiled and said, "Happier than I was with you." As I walked away, I realized something. I didn't hate him anymore. I just felt sorry for him. Because the biggest punishment wasn't losing me. It was being stuck with someone like Rachel. Spring returned. I sat on my balcony with a mug of tea, watching the cherry blossoms drift down. Eli was inside making pancakes. Burnt as usual, but with love. It's been a year since that 2 a.m. text shattered my world. And honestly, I'm grateful. Not for the betrayal. Never for that. But for the clarity it gave me, I learned that love shouldn't feel like a performance. Friendship shouldn't come with hidden agendas. And my worth isn't measured by how much I tolerate. I still have moments when a song comes on that we used to love, or I pass our old coffee shop, but they don't gut me anymore. They just remind me how far I've come. Eli and I don't talk about marriage. Not yet. We're taking it day by day. But last weekend, he met my parents, and my mom whispered, "He looks at you like you hung the moon." I smiled. He does. Meanwhile, Jason and Rachel, they're ghosts. No social media, no mutual friends. Rumor has it they dated briefly after their fallout, then vanished from each other's lives completely. Good. I don't wish them harm, but I don't spare them thoughts either. My focus is here with Eli, with my pottery classes, with the new nonprofit I started helping women rebuild after betrayal. Last month, I spoke at a support group. A young woman asked, "How do you trust again after something like that?" I told her what my therapist told me. You don't trust people. You trust patterns, and healthy people don't play games. After the meeting, she hugged me. Thank you. I feel less alone. That's the real victory. Not revenge, connection. As I head inside now, Eli hands me a plate of slightly charred pancakes. "Sorry," he says, kissing my forehead. "Still learning." "It's perfect," I say, because it is. No secrets, no bets, no hidden timelines, just us, choosing each other, every day. And that's enough. Yesterday, I cleaned out my old jewelry box and found the receipt from selling my engagement ring. On the back, I'd written a note to myself. Next time, choose someone who chooses you, without conditions, without games, without hesitation. I tucked it into my wallet. Not as a warning, but as a promise to myself. Hello guys, hope you enjoy the story. So, in my opinion, what guts me about Chloe's story isn't the betrayal. It's how calculated it was. These weren't impulsive cheaters. They turned her love into a sport with betting odds. And honestly, the fact that they destroyed each other in the end feels less like karma, and more like cosmic justice. Because narcissists always implode when they run out of people to manipulate. But here's my real take. She should have walked away the moment she saw that text. Not because she owed them a lesson, but because her peace was worth more than their drama. Still, I get why she stayed. To expose the rot, yes, but also to prove to herself she wasn't crazy. Would I have set up that dinner? Probably not, but I deeply respect that Chloe turned her pain into power without becoming cruel. She didn't destroy them. She just held up a mirror and let them drown in their own reflection. What about you? Could you walk away from someone who turned your love into a game?